This movie is centered around a girl possesses the key to humanity's survival. Welcome to the Book of Recaps. The story begins with a man named Turop, who wakes up from a terrifying dream. After the dream, he sits by the window, looking out of his house. It's soon revealed that a global war is ravaging the world, pushing humanity to the brink of collapse. People are starving, without food or water, and society is devolving into chaos. Turop, once a soldier, became a mercenary after leaving the army. As the war escalated, he turned to smuggling as a means of survival. Known for his exceptional combat skills, even without weapons, Turop is both feared and respected. He's also a skilled strategist, particularly in warfare. Currently, he resides in Eastern Europe, a region overshadowed by death and destruction. One evening, Turop returns to his apartment with some meat he purchased. Passionate about cooking, he prepares a meal and prays before eating, a habit reflecting his civilized nature. However, before he can begin eating, the wall of his house is breached and armed men storm in. Turop instantly recognizes them as criminals with ties to terrorists. Among them is their leader, a man named Carl. Despite being outnumbered, Turop remains calm. When Carl confronts him, Turop swiftly attacks and overpowers him. It's clear they have a history of conflict. The intruders intend to take Turop to their boss, but none dare to fight him. Turop grabs his jacket and agrees to meet their leader. Soon, he arrives at the den of Gorsky, the boss. Gorsky, accompanied by his wife and daughter, offers Turop a job, escorting a girl to New York. Initially, Turop refuses, but Gorsky tempts him with the promise of a new identity, something Turop has long sought. With a new identity, he could travel freely and start a fresh life. Reluctantly, Turop agrees. Gorsky's men escort Turop to an open field, where a helicopter lowers a car for him. After getting in, the car is lifted and Turop is transported to a mountainous area. When he regains consciousness, he finds himself near a monastery. A woman named Sister Rebecca emerges and introduces herself. She informs Turop that she has the girl, Aurora, but insists on certain conditions. She will accompany them, and Turop must follow her instructions. As Rebecca goes to fetch Aurora, Turop examines a map in the trunk of his car, plotting their route. Rebecca soon returns with Aurora. Although Turop urges her to get in the car, Aurora tries to engage him in conversation, curious about his background. Turop remains reserved, revealing little about himself. The journey begins, and after a long drive, they arrive in Kazakhstan, near the Russian border. From there, they plan to complete the rest of their journey by train. While in the market, Turop hands Aurora a set of clothes and instructs her to wear them, explaining that her current attire makes her stand out too much. Meanwhile, a group of suspicious individuals keeps a close watch on Turop and Aurora. After changing, Aurora walks with Turop and Rebecca, marveling at the bustling market. Having spent her entire life secluded in the monastery on the hill, Aurora finds the crowd overwhelming and struggles to adapt. She begins to feel suffocated and desperate to escape the chaos. As Turop heads to a ticket booth to purchase train tickets, Aurora, overwhelmed, bolts away. It takes a moment for Turop and Rebecca to notice her absence, and they quickly begin searching for her. Eventually, they find her and warn her about the dangers of being alone in such a crowded and unfamiliar place. Turop firmly reminds Aurora to stay close to them. With that, they make their way toward the train station. The road to the station is packed with people, but Turop keeps a protective eye on Aurora and ensures she boards the train safely. Inside the train, they discover that all the seats are taken. Spotting a Mongolian family, Turop attempts to negotiate for a seat, but is unsuccessful despite repeated efforts. Aurora, however, surprises him by speaking fluent Mongolian to the family. Her efforts pay off, and they secure seats for the journey. That night, Aurora gets her first real opportunity to converse with Turop. She asks him several questions, and Turop answers them with unexpected openness. Their conversation is interrupted when they reach Russia. Upon arrival, Turop decides to visit a nearby club. Before entering, the group is searched for security reasons. Inside, Turop reconnects with an old friend named Finn. They greet each other warmly, and Turop explains his situation, requesting Finn's help to reach Canada. Finn agrees to assist. However, Turop soon attracts the attention of some dangerous individuals who approach him with a lucrative offer. $1 million in exchange for handing over Aurora. Turop flatly refuses, unwilling to betray her. A fight breaks out, and Rebecca steps in to support Turop. To Turop's surprise, Rebecca reveals herself to be a highly skilled kung fu master, effortlessly defeating several opponents. Despite their combined efforts, the violent scene frightens Aurora, who attempts to flee. Amid the chaos, a group of men captures her, intending to take her away. But before they succeed, a skilled fighter from the ring emerges, intercepts the captors, and escorts Aurora into the safety of the ring. Turop notices Aurora inside the ring, terrified. The fighter, sensing her fear, steps in to protect her, determined to keep anyone from approaching. When Turop enters the ring to rescue Aurora, the situation is misinterpreted, and the crowd announces a fight. Forced to act, Turop engages the fighter, knowing he must win to protect Aurora. The battle intensifies, and Turop gains the upper hand, eventually choking the fighter. Aurora, witnessing this, rushes to stop Turop, pleading with him not to kill the fighter, explaining that he was only trying to protect her. Hearing this, Turop releases the fighter and calms down. Just then, Rebecca arrives, accompanied by the men who had offered Turop money earlier. They claim that Aurora's father sent them to bring her back. Aurora, eager to reunite with her father, begins to leave with them, despite Rebecca's attempts to dissuade her. As Aurora walks away, Turop realizes something is amiss and chases after her with Rebecca. However, the men are highly skilled and move quickly. Turop fires his gun, forcing them to stop. Aurora, seeing the potential for a violent confrontation, decides to return to Turop to prevent bloodshed. However, she is deeply upset, expressing her frustration at her circumstances and her desire to see her father. She breaks down in tears, overwhelmed by the situation. Rebecca consoles her, promising to help her reunite with her father soon. After calming Aurora, the group resumes their journey and joins a refugee caravan moving across a frozen sea. Beneath the ice, submarines patrol the waters, looking for escapees. After a grueling trek, a submarine surfaces, and the refugees rush to board it. The crowd is chaotic and desperate, and the submarine's captain realizes that not everyone can fit. He signals to close the submarine doors and begin the journey, leaving many behind. As people fall off the submarine in the scramble, some stubbornly refuse to give up and continue climbing. The crew begins firing on those who persist, creating a horrifying scene. Aurora, unable to bear the sight of the violence, manages to enter the submarine and heads to the control room, attempting to halt the vessel and reopen the doors. Turop arrives and stops her, but she screams in frustration, overwhelmed by the events. Moments later, she collapses from a sudden stroke, leaving Turop and the others in shock. Uncertain about Aurora's condition, Turop demands answers from Rebecca. She explains Aurora's extraordinary nature. Since childhood, Aurora had displayed remarkable abilities, including fluency in 19 languages by the age of 2. Rebecca had always cared for her, and Aurora had never caused trouble, until 3 months ago, when a doctor visited the monastery. Following his intervention, Aurora began to change in ways Rebecca couldn't understand. Hearing this, Turop becomes increasingly concerned. When he later discusses the situation with Finn, Finn warns him to stay away from Aurora, speculating that she might harbor a dangerous virus capable of endangering humanity. Despite Finn's warnings, Turop remains steadfast, unwilling to abandon Aurora, even as the mystery around her deepens. The next day, Turop and the group reach Alaska. They take jet skis and navigate through the snowy mountains, but soon discover they're being followed by a drone. The drone begins attacking aggressively, firing bullets and dropping bombs. Realizing the need to protect Aurora, Turop devises a plan. He sends Aurora with Finn and Rebecca in a different direction while he distracts the drone. The drone pursues Turop, who leads it far away to ensure Aurora's safety. Turop uses all his skills to evade the drone, and as a final move crashes his jet ski into it, destroying them both. He survives but is severely injured and collapses on the icy ground. Aurora, unwilling to leave him behind, convinces Rebecca to return. She tries to tend to Turop's wounds, attempting to remove the bullets. Meanwhile, Finn reveals his betrayal by pointing a gun at Aurora, but before he can fire, Turop shoots him, having anticipated the betrayal. The group resumes their journey and eventually crosses into Canada. They set up camp for the night. Around the campfire, Aurora asks Turop why he's risking so much for her. Turop shares his dream of returning to America and how all his past attempts have failed. He sees this mission as his last chance. The following morning, they check into a hotel, clean up, and continue their journey to New York. Upon arrival, Turop takes Aurora to the advanced apartment described to him. The technology in the apartment astonishes him. It's far beyond anything he's ever seen. Aurora turns on the television, only to learn that her childhood monastery has been destroyed, a reflection of the worsening global chaos. Turop discovers an earpiece in the apartment, and as he puts it on, Gorsky contacts him, criticizing him for breaking numerous rules and causing the deaths of many of their men. Meanwhile, Rebecca informs Turop that a doctor is coming to check on Aurora. A group arrives shortly after, accompanied by the doctor, who begins examining Aurora. Turop grows suspicious and confronts Rebecca, demanding to know the truth. Before she can fully explain, Aurora emerges and reveals that she is pregnant with twins. Turop then receives instructions to place Aurora in a car waiting outside, signaling the end of his mission. However, Turop decides to resist and crafts a plan to escape with Aurora. Chaos ensues, with bullets flying everywhere. During the firefight, Turop discovers that the passport he received has a GPS tracker, attracting a guided missile. He cleverly diverts the missile, but the explosion causes widespread devastation. Rebecca is fatally wounded in the battle, and Turop rushes back to protect Aurora. A second missile is launched, this time aimed directly at Turop. Before it can hit, Aurora takes a gun and shoots Turop herself, leaving him lifeless. The next day, Turop awakens in a laboratory, confused but alive. He meets a doctor named Arthur who reveals that he has replaced Turop's damaged body parts with advanced technology, integrating AI into his brain for enhanced abilities. Arthur introduces himself as Aurora's father, presumed dead by the world. He explains that Aurora was engineered with extraordinary abilities and that a powerful figure, the High Priestess, is after her to exploit her gifts. Arthur recalls Aurora's warning that destruction awaits New York in 6 days, hinting at her ability to foresee the future. Arthur urges Turop to find Aurora, the only one who can prevent the looming catastrophe. Meanwhile, the High Priestess kills Gorsky for his failures and confronts Arthur, demanding Aurora. Arthur rebukes her, accusing her of caring only about power under the guise of religious or social reform. Enraged, the priestess shoots Arthur and departs. Turop, reflecting on Aurora's cryptic words, realizes that her mention of home refers to his own house. He returns to his childhood home and finds Aurora there. The two leave together, and time passes. 6 months later, Aurora gives birth to twins but dies shortly after, fulfilling her programming. Heartbroken, Turop resolves to raise the children and protect their legacy. The film concludes with Turop embracing his role as the children's guardian, ready to face whatever challenges the future may bring.